It's good to see you, Steve.
Thank you.
Live, Zildjian's 400th.
Yeah.
So, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to show everybody maybe a sticking exercise,
Okay.
which would be great
Yep.
because I think there's a new book coming up.
There is. We're just trying to finish it at the moment.
Okay.
Myself and Russ Charlie, we are talking about trying to get it finished for hopefully for Christmas.
Okay.
It's just he's busy, I'm busy, but yeah, there is one coming, and it's a kind of a little bit of a concept that I've been working on of combinations. So it's taking little elements of the stuff that we all know and love. It's a little bit of stick control. It's a little bit of Master Studies by Joe Morello, and it's just kind of putting a little slant on it that is kind of relevant to the way that I practice. So essentially taking combinations, say 4 single strokes. Now the whole kind of power from the exercise comes from the downstroke. So we've got a couple of downstrokes and then a couple of upstrokes again. So there is the energy that's kind of, so from there we're getting that kind of momentum. And then we're going to introduce some doubles into that little combination. So it's 4 singles, the first 2 downstrokes and then upstrokes. So we're getting downstrokes and upstrokes and then doubles. Now I use these kind of little combinations quite a lot.
You reckon you can do this, keep that going,
Yeah.
and I'll ask you some questions?
Yeah. Okay. I do add paradiddles as well.
Okay. Do you want to do? Okay.
There you go.
You tell me when you're ready.
And it goes on and on.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Here we go. Right. Okay. So you're stranded on a desert island. You got your drum kit. You got your cymbals. You got everything you need. But you can take one luxury item. What would the luxury item be?
Could I have a really swish penknife?
Yeah. Wow, this is a popular one today, but
Yeah.
of course
Sort
you
of
can have a
real
penknife.
cool one.
Okay,
A big
cool.
Swiss Army one.
Of course you can. You can have what you want.
Yeah.
What one drum book you can take? What would the drum book be?
Master Studies by Joe Morello.
Okay, good call. Right, one piece of music, an album. Remember, it's going to be with you forever.
Well, I would say it'd have to be the Beatles' greatest hits, the Volume 2.
Oh, nice. Any particular reason? You've got fond memories, or
The early stuff I'm so kind of familiar with, Love Me Do and all that kind of stuff, but it's the later stuff that I just constantly sort of listen to it, and still just Ringo still blows me away as the greatest pop drummer of all time.
Yeah, brilliant, excellent. Okay, so you're on your long haul flight out there. You sit next to any drummer, dead or alive, and talk to them and ask them questions.
I think I'd be too nervous to ask for Buddy, but so it would have to be Louis, because having met him on numerous occasions since I was a kid, I always found him just so wonderfully lovely to talk to.
Yeah, cool, good one. 2 questions here for you, all in the same one. What would be your favourite album that you've played on, and whether it's the memory or your performance, what would that be?
I'm very lucky to sort of have a few albums that have become, reasonably popular, from the Style Council into Paul Weller. The album I think that's kind of most in my sort of radar at the moment is probably Wildwood, because we've just done a documentary that's coming out very soon. And even Paul texted me like a couple of days ago and went, "That was a really good album, wasn't it?" And the band was smoking at the time. So I have very fond memories of that record.
Okay.
But I very rarely play my own music unless my wife kind of insists on put it on.
Right, cool, good one. What about an album that you wished you played on?
That would have to be Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush.
Oh, cool.
The kick inside.
Yeah.
The kick inside, because Wuthering Heights is one of my favourite tunes, and Stuart Elliott is one of my favourite drummers, but it would be the kick inside. My dad brought that home in 1977, and it's just still one of my favourite records.
Right. Well, you started relatively early, so this question is maybe I should have reduced the age. But what advice would you give a 50-year-old Steve White?
Get a good lawyer.
Okay.
Take care of business.
Okay.
Take care of business. It's the drumming will take care of itself if you're prepared to work hard, but know about the business.
Okay.
Know how the business works.
Yeah, good. Okay. Do you stretch before you warm up?
I
Like
do.
before
Yeah,
you play,
I have a fairly kind of. I'm not a sort of super sports person, but I'm a dog lover. I walk my dog a lot. I have little regimes of stretching and weights, and I just try to play a lot, play as much as I can. Diet as well. I'm very much into the sort of like holistic approach of everything has a little incremental benefit if you do you know, everything kind of in moderation.
Okay. And do you find you have to do any physical warm up, sticking exercise, or mental warm up before you play?
Well, drumming to me is a therapy. So when I'm playing and kind of away from, you know, social media and the desperate news and all that kind of thing, I don't really have to sort of think too much about that. But then physically, it's kind of things like this, which I'm doing. Because I got into a really bad habit, which I got told off a lot. Was I used to listen to stuff like talk radio or Radio 4, and I would go from sort of like 30 minutes of the news quiz and say, well, I've done 30 minutes pad practice, and all my teachers went, that's really, really bad, but I kind of still do it sometimes.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, a song that you wish you played drums on?
That would have to be Let's Stay Together by Al Green.
Okay.
The most perfect piece of soul that has ever been written.
Yeah, absolutely, I totally agree. Cocktail or beer?
Beer.
Okay, final
But
question.
I prefer wine.
Okay, I know you're a wine drinker. Final question. What advice would you give for any drummer that wants to come into the music industry now?
Make sure that you enjoy your second job.
Okay.
And that's not being flippant, because so many young drummers, they'll do something else, but they won't really enjoy it. So 50% of their kind of sort of time is spent doing something that they really don't enjoy. And I think, you know, any drummer that's honest now will tell you that you have to diversify. You know, so if you enjoy driving, then get a job as a driver, because it's very hard to make a 100% living as a drummer these days. So I would just say, you know, just be prepared to diversify a little bit, and make sure that when you do diversify, it can support your drumming or just makes that part of your life enjoyable to do.
Okay, Steve White, you may now finish. Excellent! Well done, Steve.